Welcome to Middle Fingers Up, the show where we hold our heads high and our middle fingers higher. I'm your host, Kien McKay. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Today, I kind of feel a little Hollywoody sitting here with fancy recording devices. And that is because I have the privilege of sitting down with Kien, whose social media presence can be discovered across multiple platforms under the handle Shot by Kien. He has an impressive 14 years of experience in marketing for diverse brands, working at valued agencies, and serving as a social media manager for businesses. Kien brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our talk today, because today we are going to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, AI, and the connection or the clash, I guess it depends how we want to look at it, with digital media. So I'm really curious about what Kien and his colleagues in his field think about AI and how things are blowing up, because personally I know nothing about technology, so I'm very excited to learn about this. So I want to talk about, he's got lots of talent. So there's this videography stuff that he does, which is really cool. You guys should check out all of his stuff on Instagram as well as his website. But he also has a short career, a past rapping. He was known as Official Kien. Very talented, very amazing. So I'm just super excited to have him in the room today. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. I'm so glad this happened. I've been following you for a while. So when you walked in today, I was like, oh, it feels like a celebrity walking in, because I've seen videos of you, heard you talking, and you posted recently a really interesting picture with you, sort of like with a busy background, almost like if somebody was standing in the streets of New York, buildings and all this sort of stuff going on. And you talked about how you worked alongside AI. And so I'm curious about what that means with this picture. But it looks like a picture that your buddy that you're on this vacation with just took of you. And what I thought was really cool, and I feel like I learned a lot about you in this little statement you had on your post about it's time to talk about AI. It's time to figure out how we can work with AI. What are we worried about? What are we afraid of? Because it's happening, and it's been happening for some time. So that was really cool, because it's like, let's use this opportunity to sort of get to know it versus maybe shy away from it or walk away from it. So I thought, oh, you seem like such a cool person to think like that.
Thank you.
So you were great at saying, yeah, let's talk. So thank you again for being here today and recording. Our listeners ask for us to do some video content, and it's on my to-do list. Haven't gotten there yet. So this is cool that we got a recording today. Yeah, totally. I'm like, where do I put my hands? I don't know what to do. Yeah. That was cute. I like that. Yeah, just like to the side, to the hip. Yeah, little dance move. Or like my west side.
Oh,
yeah. I like have to put my fingers together. Oh my God.
Surrey.
Yeah, straight from Surrey. That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I should have worn my Surrey shirt today. Yeah, I should have. Next time when you come back. Let's just immediately get into you dropping your plug for us, because like I said, you're on a lot of different handles. You have a lot of different ways to be reached. You do all sorts of things. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do when it comes to videography and all the other digital media stuff?
So videography is definitely the foundation of what I do. Right now, at the moment, my handle is Calgary Videographer, but I go by Shot by Kien. Yeah.
Just to confuse all of us.
Yeah, to confuse everybody, just for SEO purposes, but we can get into that later.
Oh, what purposes?
SEO, search engine optimization.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, here we go. These are like, I should know that already. Yeah.
But then I also have my artist page, which is where all my rap stuff is. It's Official Kien. And then I have my wedding videography stuff, which is Calgary Wedding videographer.
Yeah.
And I also took the handle Calgary Wedding Videography.
Ooh, okay.
For SEO purposes.
Yes, SEO.
Let's go.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Your website is so impressive. It's very easy to go through, and you have really amazing content. Like
Thank you.
you've worked with people making documentaries in the health field.
Yeah.
That was very interesting with that gadget.
Yeah.
That happened just in Alberta.
Yeah.
How cool was that? So it was basically a robot essentially assisting people for ultrasounds.
Yeah.
And I watched this video. It was so good. And I thought, oh, this is so cool because we're having such a crisis in the health field with staffing.
Exactly.
And so you need fewer people if you don't have them. I'm not trying to, kick out our healthcare professionals. I love them. I appreciate them. But it's really cool because it's hard to get appointments and it's hard to get in. And that ultrasound was taking place, I think it was like happening from another part of Canada, like Ontario or somewhere else, right?
Yeah, very far away from it.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then you have all sorts of other videos. What else do people hire you for?
So since the video content or content marketing, video marketing has been evolving, the short form stuff is kind of what I'm targeting for other businesses. A lot of vertical related content so that like we can have those quick spurts of video and you're constantly being on top of mind as a business owner. So
you posted something today or the other day about you're glad that your clients are open to vertical.
Yeah.
So like why wouldn't people what does that mean exactly? Like why?
So as you know, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts are all in vertical format, right?
Yeah.
So that it fits your phone nicely.
Yeah. People aren't into that though?
They're so used to, having landscape promo videos and all that kind of stuff, which Facebook is still good for and YouTube, like the regular YouTube is still good for.
Right.
But for social media purposes, you want to be able to optimize the entire screen. Yeah. Right? Just for attention, people who are viewing your audience. Yeah. You want everybody to be able to see the whole thing instead of being like, oh, there's so much space in between. It's not as captivating, I guess. Right. Oh, so that's interesting. So it's all about like the consumption behavior of people. I think. Yeah. What are you learning about that? There's a lot of little things. Yeah. So we talk about SEO, optimizing like your keywords. Right. But now you're supposed to optimize your visuals. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then also there's like the idea of having a hook for your video so that you captivate people's attention in the first 3 seconds. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure. It is. It's a lot of stuff going on in one video. Yeah. And small components add into like this big, like this one thing. Right. And like how is someone like me supposed to know that when I'm born in like pre-internet, pre-SEO, and now I'm like trying to like keep up and learn all this stuff, and it's so hard because I can't, and also just my interest level. Right. I feel like those people that are so interested in technology, I admire that because it's a lot you have to keep up. You can miss so much in such a short period of time because there's so much coming out at you. So how is someone that doesn't have that kind of experience supposed to know all of the stuff? Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get tricked by all this stuff because there's a lot hapappening. There's so many different platforms, like you said, so many different ways. Yeah. First question is, why are you not obsessed with this? Yeah. You know what? That's what my friends and family would actually ask. Like personally, like this is I think you know what? I would be obsessed with it if I had you every day just following and walking around and doing, all the hard work. Your own artificial intelligence. Okay. There we go. Now we know what team I'm on right there. Hey, yeah. I feel like talking about AI is kind of like talking about politics and religion and a little bit because there's mixed feelings about it. There's taboo, yeah, right. So it's going to be interesting talking about this with you. So any other videography or anything else you want to let us know about all the cool things you do? I just think mainly it's videography is what my focus is on right now. Yeah. So let's just keep the laser focus. Yeah. That's how you grow stuff. So. It's so cool. There's like that really cute one where
I was telling you before we started recording, parents are sort of being interviewed almost like documentary style, reality TV style. And it's sort of like a little note a letter to their child. Oh, and it was so cute. And I was like, oh, this is, there was a whole gender reveal thing. And I'm like, now this must be the next thing that people are doing with their newborn and making a little video that they can later give to their child.
That's a great gift, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had this idea while I was sleeping. I dreamt it. I dreamt this idea. It's called the Full Circle package, where if you get us to do your engagement videos, you get a little bit of a discount for your wedding video. And then after that, if you decide to have kids, you get a discount on your baby video.
That's so cool. Yeah. The Full Circle. I love that. Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant too. Yeah. I woke up, I'm like, oh, genius.
Did you write it down on your genius book?
In my iPhone, I'm just like, oh, there you go.
Yeah. Of course it's not handwritten. It's got to be digital. It's got to be on your phone. That's right. Yeah, that was it was so cute. I watched it and I'm like, why am I crying? I don't even know this family and their beautiful baby. And now I'm attached to their beautiful words to their son. So it was really cool. Lots of stuff changing, a lot of things that are different. I was saying to you before we started recording, like when I got married 15 years ago this year, we had videographers at our wedding and it was so basic. It was, first of all, the guy that did our wedding, his partner was going to come record the reception, and the guy that did our wedding, his name was Gunn, which was a very interesting name.
He's a shooter?
He was a shooter. And yeah, actually, that goes so well. But he was just in a hurry because he was on a flight right after our ceremony to Vegas. So it was just this like not fun moment because everything was like hurry. Yeah. And then his partner that did the reception was really interested in like our buffet and our food. So like a couple times I had to go, I'm like, dude, like, can you come over here and take something? So, and things have changed over the years because when my brother got married, there was all these next day edits and all these different things that glam up couples. And you kind of feel like you have your own little video where,
music video.
Oh my,
right.
Speaking of music videos, I have sold my soul many times to the devil and watch really bad TV. And I started watching the Kardashians on Disney. And so season 3's out. And so I was going to ask you, I was like, okay, so video content is clearly such a demand because the Kardashians, I didn't know this, you could do this, but they decided for their season 3 opener, they were going to make a music video. So their intro is a music video and it's Beyonce's Cuff It. So I'm mad at Beyonce too right now. But she gave them the song and it's at a roller rink, right? So they're not singing, they're not dancing, it's not their song, but they wanted to make it, and it's a legit music video. It's so cute. And I thought, oh, you're coming over today, so maybe I need to like talk to you about like, can anyone have a music video? Like, can you just do that?
If there's music, you can make a video.
Clearly, right? Because the Kardashians are doing it. They have a music video out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they got money. They could do whatever they want,
that's true. That's a whole different conversation, hey? All right, okay. So I was going to ask you a little bit about what got you into videography. So you may know on our show here, we do a lot of story sharing, hopefully healing through stories. And I kind of feel that you are a digital, or as you would say, a visual storyteller. So it's cute because I think there are so many different angles that you can share in how you want to tell a story, and you do it through video content or digital content. So I'm curious about what's the story that led to you becoming a videographer?
Okay, that would be my rapper self. So I've been rapping since I was 21, or making music at the very least since I was 21.
Yeah.
I'm 34 now. So it's been like over a decade of like creating music, but also didn't know that like, videographers even existed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to shoot my own music videos. I'm going to create my own content. And so year after year, just creating whatever I want on my own, like getting somebody to hold the camera for me or whatever.
Yeah.
And, getting my cousin Wayne to shoot a few for me as well. And then just kind of learn as we go.
Right.
It's not like nowadays where it's like there's a plethora of like information out there, right?
Right.
So it's just try and then like trial and error type of thing.
Yeah. Your videos, I got to go check out your page, and I'm so glad you're talking about this, and check out your music. Like I said, you are so talented.
Thank you.
Like amazing. And your videos were really cool and edgy and almost reminds me a little bit of, I don't know if you know the group Brockhampton. They're like this rap group that kind of been around for a little bit, but there's like 10 of them. They're like, there's so many of them that sort of come together. But the music videos are very similar, like edgy and I think really relatable. We learn a lot about you through them too, because you have your boys in there and you have your local, I'm assuming that's your neighborhood in some of the video, right? I was like, oh, this is so cool, because when you watch other rappers or other videos, you would think that that's what people that are from that area would think, oh, this is our street or whatever, right? So I thought you've done a really good job. So it makes sense that that's where your passion sort of just kind of started, through rapping. Yeah.
And the thing about starting with music videos is that in my opinion, that's where all the effects and everything are invented. Like how to transition from this scene to that scene, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it was kind of like a good edge to have on other videographers if you start off as a music videographer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. What would you say was really challenging about making music videos?
To keep it different all the time.
Yeah. So not do the same thing over and over? Yeah.
So, like the ideas can flow or whatever, but if you shoot the same way all the time and if you edit the same way, it's just gonna seem like the same thing.
Yeah, you're just wearing a different shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just in a different warehouse or whatever.
I'm on a different street.
Yeah, with a different color car.
Exactly.
Your rental.
Yeah, I mean, like the performance shots are gonna be the same because I'm not gonna suddenly move differently. Perform,
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're you, but you try to change your environment and your backdrop. Yeah. So that was challenging. Did you get help with that, or did you kind of come up with your own concepts?
I think as a creative, you see everything as a creative opportunity. Yeah. And so like every chance I got, I would try to flex my creativity. Yeah. So in music, in videos, and like I would try to like do it all, I guess. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of regret with that because I know that like having more people who are a part of something is so much more powerful now, right? But it took me this long to realize that. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
You can't do everything by yourself, right? That's where it stems from. And then I guess like to be able to delegate, like to be able to spend your time doing your craft, you actually like exponentially grow within that craft instead of trying to dabble and like be a jack of all trades. Right.
Yeah. Find your niche and kind of stick to it sort of thing. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
And what happened was when I did the music videos and then I would like, write the songs and I even tried making beats that I was terrible at. And then I have a friend who makes beats. His name is Andrew. And I got him to do a lot of my beats afterwards.
Right. Yeah. So sort of that village mentality. Yeah. It goes a long way. Yeah. And I kind of feel like that with mental health. And that's, sort of what we talk about here too, is that when we isolate ourselves, whether it's feeling like we have to do everything in our job place, and sometimes we can become martyrs when we do, like I have to do everything because we put that pressure on. But it's the same about talking about our well-being and all that. We put this pressure on and feel like we have to isolate and do it all. And we're only human. So I think it's interesting to hear you say that you gotta like ask for help. That's a hard thing. The ego gets in the way, right?
Especially as a creative, I think you operate a lot in the ego at first. Yeah. And then
why?
I think it's because it's your creativity, it's your imagination. Yeah. And you want to execute on that particular thing instead of getting other people to butt in, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Especially when you're starting out because you're kind of figuring it out. Like where's this going to go? Yeah. Who am I going to become and all that? And you don't want all these people at you.
And let's be real, it's fun.
Yeah. You do. You make it look like it is. Yes. Even when you're putting you did that Nike commercial. Yeah. Who was in the commercial?
That's my brother.
That's your brother? Yeah. Oh, shout out. What's his name?
Yeah, Larry.
Oh my God. A shout out to Larry. What a good model. Like the perfect model for that. I watched it and then I watched it again and I'm like, this is a legit Nike. This is exactly what a Nike. We're just missing Drake. He's the only one that we need in there, but that's exactly what a Nike commercial looks like. That's amazing. Thank you. You look at these things out there and we put media on this pedestal in this way, right? Like we think, these. I mean, I don't know if these big artsy folks that have been making these commercials and doing these things are a little worried because a lot of people have that talent, and you did that in a way that you would expect a fancy production with 100,000 people in the background working, and it was legit all you.
Yeah, I think that that really helped with like the run and gun style music videos that I was shooting, right? It kind of goes back to that where it's like, okay, well, how do you create this light to make it look like it's $100,000 lighting setting?
Right. That's like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg mentality. They as they were filming as kids, they started figuring out problem solving along the way, and look at all the stuff that they gifted media with. So so the more you put yourself out there, I guess.
Yeah.
The more you get. Look at that. It's like the little children's book right there. little moral of the story.
There it is.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss. Let's go.
Yeah, Dr. Kien.
Yeah.
Moments with Kien. So what was growing up like for you? So was digital stuff sort of in your passion as a child, or did that come later? Like, how did rapping happen for you?
Okay, so how did rapping start?
Yeah, you don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be like, that's not for everyone.
So the premise of this whole, I wouldn't even call it a career, like this whole passion for music and like rapping and all that stemmed from me starting a YouTube channel, learning how to sing. I hired a vocal coach.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show my progress on YouTube. This was like baby days for YouTube, right?
Yeah.
When I first started.
Justin Bieber YouTube days?
Before
Oh,
that.
Wow. You were like pre-Bieber.
Like 2006 when it started type
like,
vibes.
Yeah.
And so that's where it started. And then I realized like, oh, my singing is trash. So then that's when I'm like, okay, well, I still love to write and I want to be expressive verbally and stuff like that. So what's next? Like, let's try rapping.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning, it was so bad. You know, like the raps were so bad. And then gradually it's just, you catch on, you get your syllables down, you know.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love that. That's so cool. So what was then growing up like for you? So I would imagine did you grow up in the hip hop culture? That was that sort of like what you connected with as a little Chinese boy? Like and you grew up in Calgary, right?
Yeah.
So like how much of a hip hop culture would there be in Calgary?
So
maybe there is.
Within
we're just
Calgary,
not invited,
there wasn't.
Right.
But it was always listening to what your cousins, your older cousins
are
always,
yeah. What were they listening to?
They were going from like Tupac and stuff like that, but also all the way to like Limp Bizkit.
Oh yes,
and like Korn and stuff like that. I was like,
that's like all my. I'm like check. Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Right? And obviously, if they're listening to it, it must be cool.
Yeah, totally. Well, Korn and Limp Bizkit, all those guys sort of made rapping and metal and sort of like all this stuff sort of come together, and you're like, this is like a little different.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to go to a bar and see all the different types of people coming together to dance to a Limp Bizkit or Korn, right? Because you're like, like normally we wouldn't all listen to this genre. We'd have different.
Everybody's like confused.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Yeah. So you were influenced by them quite a bit, or yeah.
It was that. But at the same time, like, I also loved my R&B.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I listened to a lot of, like, Neo back in the day. So I'm like, I want to make a song. So I want to sing. You know, I want to be able to be like Neo.
Yeah.
And, that didn't happen.
Hey, you tried, though.
Yeah, I definitely tried. Like,
so where did that kind of drive come from for you?
See, that, I don't know.
Yeah? What would your mom say?
My mom says that, like, ever since I was young, I've always, if I want something, you will do whatever it takes to get it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, from like toys when you were a young kid all the way to like your learners or something.
Determination.
Yeah. Like there's just no other option type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Do you see that?
I see that now.
Yeah.
But like before, I just thought it was normal. I thought everybody did this. Like, I thought everybody wanted to pursue something. I thought everybody had passions. I thought everybody wanted to go after their dreams and that was the only way.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But comfort.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and like I feel like, and maybe I'm projecting my own stuff on you, but I would feel like coming like as a visible minority too, there are a lot of young people who have that kind of drive and determination because your parents instill that in you, because they know, and you don't know until you're older what they went through.
True.
But they know what they sacrificed to bring, come to this country, to have you, to to raise you, and maybe they're not doing it in the perfect way, and we figure that stuff out down the way. We, you know, make amends, but they busted their asses for us. So like you kind of, whether they tell us or we see that, I'm sure your mom and dad were busting their butt working.
Definitely.
Trying to help you and your brother, right? Go to school and get fancy shoes or whatever you wanted.
And most recently, actually, like even like a couple months ago is when I really like started to heal from it. Like heal from like what they had to go through, but then like how their story kind of reflected onto me.
Yeah.
And I would randomly just like cry.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening to me? I like need a good cry or something. I was telling my girlfriend this. I was like, why did this happen randomly?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then it was always, I've heard from somebody who said, when you're going through stuff like this, it's like, it's because you're supposed to go through this so you can get to the next level. So
yeah.
I'm like, oh man, like, cause like all my actions, like I know that like I can't have the immigrant mindset and try to propel myself to the next level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you do then if you can't have that mindset? What do you do?
So one thing is that I gotta go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Me and my family, we owned a sushi restaurant together
here
in Calgary. Yeah.
Okay. So your parents and your brother and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that obviously, like, you know, it goes with that saying of like the top 5 people that you're around is like you're gonna be the 6th one or whatever that saying is.
Oh, I'm not good at metaphors, but children of immigrants, we're not good at that stuff. Yeah, but I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So I inherited like a lot of like their conservativeness almost.
Yeah.
Even though I am like, if they weren't there to influence me in that way, I would literally be super like risky and like trying things and like being very open to things, right?
Yeah.
But being in the restaurant for 6 years, it really held me back almost.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, obviously.
Right.
Because they're just living their life, throwing their opinion out there. Even if it's in the nicest tone, it's still like gradually it'll like get to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You're working for your parents and you don't have a voice.
Yeah.
Right. And no hard feelings to our parents, but that's how they're raised, as kids are meant to really not have a personality or voice or anything until they grow up. But the hard thing is when you grow up, you're like, I don't know who I am because what's my stance? What do I believe? What and all? And I think, why do you think that comes out that way from immigrant parents? Like, what do you think's behind that?
You know, like you're not supposed to have an opinion or whatever, right? As a kid, or if you lash out or if you show any emotion other than happiness and like all that kind of stuff, then you're considered disrespectful. I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, or if like it has something to do with like authoritativeness. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would even add fear.
Yeah.
Like our parents have had so much, like you're in a country that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anytime I've traveled, I've loved it, but I'm a little more cautious because I'm not familiar with the territory. And so they're raising kids in this unfamiliar territory, and naturally there's got to be fear that comes out. Like, don't touch that. I don't know about you. In my culture, the fear of dogs. It's like, don't go near the dog. You know, you don't grow up with pets, and so then you're always afraid of dogs or people's pets or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, fear. I was saying, I think we get raised with don't do that. Don't talk that. I had like a weird complex with my boss when I got older, and like because elders and anyone like a teacher or managers, people that are in that authority figure, you don't talk back.
Yeah.
But then you go to a workplace, you're in North America, and then you get told you have to have an opinion. You have to challenge back. You have to say something, and you're like, you're my superior. I don't like, when am I supposed to challenge back, right? Like it sometimes kind of bites you in the butt then as you're getting older. So, but now that you're in your 30s, when you look back, what are some things that you feel you're learning or looking differently about with your childhood?
Definitely, I think that is why hip hop resonated so much with me as a kid too. Yeah. Is because, you know, the bravado and like, you know, the braggadocio music, they're boasting about themselves, which is something that's so like, what? You can't do that in our culture, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, there's like, I love this, you know? Yeah. It's actually personality. Yeah. But yeah, like as a child, like I would always have that as an outlet, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, finding yourself through hip hop, hey, through rap and all. Yeah,
I found the community in hip hop, like even though there's no community here,
yeah. Well, if I'm learning with this project, with this show, it's like you got to pave the way sometimes. If it's not there, it doesn't mean that it can't be. You got to make the space for it, because sometimes the space isn't given to you, right? So you got to do. And again, you're very talented, so it's great that you put yourself out there and you would do that. So you grew up with a brother, you have your parents, you guys had a sushi, so you don't have that sushi restaurant anymore? No?
Sold it probably 7 years ago.
Oh, okay. I'm so curious about which one it was.
Sushi Toki.
It
still exists. It's on the intersection of Memorial and 36.
Oh, okay.
Kind of in the hood still.
Yeah, totally in the hood. Is that where you grew up, in the Northeast? Yeah.
So my parents still live at that house in that area.
Where you grew up?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So is there a lot of the Chinese community around there? No.
It's very ghetto, actually.
Like temple or
it's not as bad as Temple. I've heard like horror stories where people were found in someone's backyard just shooting up, like.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I lived in Radisson for a bit.
Oh, nice.
And I loved that area. I thought it was like such a safe area at the time. Carrie and I lived there for
time.
Yeah, maybe not anymore. We 12 years ago we moved from that area, but we never and I don't know, I never felt like there was any issues or whatever. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Northeast. Yeah. It's where if you want to have good Indian food, that's sort of where you gotta go.
Yeah.
Go get it in the Northeast. So yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you, because we're talking a little bit about your childhood. Is there anything else you want to add about your childhood?
Not my own childhood in particular, just like how I want to influence other kids and like stuff like that, right? And that's the reason why, like, I think that I have to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah, like to have your face out there and to have your voice out there. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, and my brother recently had a kid, so he's 2 months old now. Shout out to Desmond. Oh, little Des. Yeah, little Desi. He's so cute. Yeah, and I realized that, like, when me and my brother, like, we work out as like a normal thing in our day-to-day lives, right? Yeah. And that's something that our parents didn't do. Mm-hmm. So, but I want the kids to seem like that's normal. Yeah. You know physical activity. Yeah. But that's just an example. Like, and now I transfer that, like, into my creativity and, like, all the stuff that I'm pursuing. Yeah. And then I want that to be normal, to pursue your thing. Yeah. Yeah. I really like what you're saying. Like, even sports and playing on teams for a lot of visible minorities, that's just not a reality. You can't afford it. Your parents don't know where and what and all that. And I think there's lots of communities that are starting to kind of come together, I feel, and helping kids get into sports. And I think that's the thing, like, those of us that maybe didn't get the things that we wished we did or, we should have as kids, I think we can use that as an opportunity now. I can take the hate route and be mad at my family for something that, they're doing the best they could. Yeah. Or I can say, okay, now for Desmond and, my kids and other kids in our communities, well, how can we help open some doors that they know that this is an option? They don't have to go play hockey or whatever. Yeah. Desmond doesn't have to go work out, but he knows that this is an outlet, and this is. I think that's really cool, and I'm glad to see you doing so well with your work. Again, it's a skill, but also I think when you're doing so well like that, it's because there's a need, and probably a lot of people from other communities similar to yours are relieved to see a face like yours out there, to say, okay, I can do some of my own creative stuff. I don't have to go do that 9-to-5 job that, all of our parents wanted us to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers or whatever. I don't know. Is that the same in your community? Yes. Yeah. Is it doctor, lawyer, engineer, or is it something different? It is that. It's the same thing, right? Exactly the same. Yeah. No, exactly. Right. So, and that's, again, fear, right? Like those are the things that are good jobs, and your parents want us to do well. And
now it's just hard to explain to, I think, just like my kids are going to struggle explaining to me, like there's so many different ways to do just as well as being a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer through your whole digital storytelling that you're doing.
It's just so funny because when I tell my dad, like, because I like to update him all the time, even though my girlfriend's like, don't try to update him. Like, he's just going to be more confused. And like, he thinks that you're not doing anything, essentially. Like, he's going to just worry about you and tell you that you should do this instead, blah, blah, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I gotta stop like updating him and like about AI and all that kind of stuff. Like,
because he's gonna think it's gonna take your job away.
Yeah, or like you're just playing around. Like, what are you doing?
Video games. Yeah.
It's like you're playing on the computer.
Yeah, I love that you're playing on the computer. That's exactly it. Yeah, right? You kind of are though. He's not wrong.
Yeah,
just getting paid to do it.
It's just so much more effective now than like before.
Yeah, right. So what advice would you have for Desmond and some other people in your community and other visible minority communities that feel like they don't have a voice or feel that they don't have the capacity to sort of tap into their creative outlet or do something that they really love and they want? What's some advice that you would give folks that are listening?
Don't listen to your parents.
Parents just don't understand.
Like, it's
except for
amazing.
My kids.
Except for your kids.
You listen to me all the time. Sorry to interrupt, but yes.
No problem. Like, it's just I realize now the effects of them, how their growing up is mirrored into us.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a completely different time.
Yeah.
You know, like even in how you make money, like you were just saying, it's so different to the point where if you take the mindset of a person who's not in like the whole, you know, AI and like digital world, it will hold you back so badly to the point where like you are going to have such a hard time growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you can put that meaning that you just said in categories with racism, with gender identity, with all sorts of other things that people really struggle to accept, or, you know, the fear of, again, it comes down to fear. I'm afraid of what's happening with technology. I'm afraid of people that don't look like me. I'm afraid of people that believe in things that I don't believe in. And now I have to do something about that. And I like what you're saying. It's like, okay, that's one way of doing it. We can be fearful, or we can prepare and we can use it to our advantage, save time if that's possible, right? Like what are the things that you would say come easy or can be really beneficial with having things like AI in our world?
Well, at this very moment, it's still an infant, or it's just a baby, right? It's a fetus.
Just a little tiny thing. A little baby.
But it's actually, the possibilities are endless at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, if we are already able to generate the photos, you know, and be able to prompt, you know, videos that could tell a story without you having to hit record button ever. Yeah. Or create scripts for movies and stuff like that. Right. What's stopping them to actually create those things on their own? Yeah. Right.
You don't have fear of what's happening in the world of AI.
No, I think it's exciting.
You're excited by it.
Yeah.
So what would you say then to folks that have that fear about it? It's going to take my job. Yeah. Oh my God, it's almost like immigrants coming to a new country, and the immigrants are going to take our jobs and, you know, get rid whatever. And and it's all of a sudden I'm like, that's what it feels like. Is that kind of how you would say it, AI? Like, it's happening. They're coming to our country. Can we embrace them this time?
Honestly, it's definitely how you look at it, because at this point right now, it's still a tool. Yeah. Just like how a camera's a tool, a microphone's a tool, and everything, right?
Right.
It's how you use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can let it like take over, or you can be the one who learn how to prompt it better.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And get your descriptive words or whatever better so that you can make it work for you. Right.
Okay, well, I'm going to pause for a second, and now I'm going to ask us to do, because we can keep talking about this, and we will. Let's do our MFU, middle fingers up. Okay. So what do you want to get off your chest? What do you want to put your middle fingers up to?
This is going to do some healing, actually.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Middle fingers up to people who don't support their friends. Yeah, that's what I'm bringing to the table.
Can we talk about this?
Yes, please.
Okay, tell me more. Why are we putting our middle fingers up to this? Because this is hitting home for me too.
So I've been trying to tell other people about like my experience or how I feel and everything, and a lot of times I'm talking to people who have never experienced the tall poppy syndrome.
What does that mean?
Right? It means that like if you stand too tall, if you stand out from everybody else, they're gonna try to bring you back down.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to chop you down.
Why do people do that?
It's like the whole crab in the bucket. I think that's another saying for it. Mm-hmm. But when I tell people this, they don't believe me. They actually tell me that like it's because you don't support anybody else and you don't do this for other people. That's why nobody wants to do this for you. But I've been doing this for so long, like being the first to do this, first to do that.
Yeah.
And like I see, like if I could put it on a chart or like a graph, it would literally be like, oh, like everybody thinks I'm supporting, and then like it's just like drops off as time goes on type of thing,
right, yeah.
And I've been told like, oh, you shouldn't expect your friends and your family to be supportive of you, just do your thing. Well, I know that,
yeah,
but at the same time there's so much evidence that nobody cares.
Yeah. What would support look like if those friends and family were truly supporting you? What would it look like? How would they be doing that?
First off, share my shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't like if I run into you in person and you're going to tell me how great I'm doing or whatever I'm doing, it's like, bro, you didn't even like the post.
Yeah.
Something small that like, that they've seen your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a small action, first of all. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it.
You can, and you are, because I think there's so many examples that people can relate to. And I think because we live in this digital world, and for example, let's say Instagram, and I have my business over here and I'm trying to succeed, and you start to get really like deep into this thing where you are looking at your stats and how many eyes were on your story, how many eyeballs, but of that, how many people actually responded by liking it or whatever. But then also how many of those people that are on this platform that follow you actually know how Instagram work. And it's like, it's all this sort of stuff. But yeah, sometimes you can't help but be the person that can pick out the few that just don't have any sort of support by liking or I wonder about that. Like, what you don't want to be the person that's thinking people, well, like you're saying, bring you down, like they're jealous. But it's interesting because I've had a few people in my life too where don't talk to me anymore. Yeah. Since I've left my previous work, and I don't, like, other than I'm not, doing my job, I'm doing this now, I don't really know how different I really truly am. I mean, maybe I'm just a terrible person to be around, but I wonder that too. Like, I thought we're like supporters of each other, so why can't this come up in a conversation? Or why can't you ask Kien, how is it going? How is videography going, right? Like,
so okay, let me tell you something that made me that solidified my understanding of the tall poppy syndrome within like my circle of people, is that there was this one app that you could download a while ago to see like who's your ghost followers, which means that like my gosh, they don't like or they don't interact with your stuff or anything, but
they follow you.
Yeah. So like for my music account, I used to have like 21,000 people on there. Yeah. But
I don't even know 21 people. So.
The point is that I think it was like 85% of those ghost followers were Calgarians. Yeah. And I was so shook at that moment. I was like, okay, maybe it's not just me. Mm-hmm.
It's competition. Yeah. It's like this weird thing that we get trained and kind of like pinned against each other, and it becomes this thing where it's your success is my failure. Yeah. When Kien's doing well with his business, that means something like isn't going
away from me.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can go do this too. There's lots of space to go do this, and it's also choice. Yeah. And I think sometimes people have a hard time when they see loved ones doing something that they're passionate about, because North America doesn't support passion and excitement. We're flaky when we say, what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm doing what I love. And they're like, you're weird. You're on drugs. Don't talk to me. Because we're supposed to be miserable, right? Yeah. We're supposed to hate our jobs and complain and all that stuff. Yeah. And even when we love our job, we don't want to admit it, because then people are going to think, oh, you think you're better than me?
Like,
right?
I get a lot of that, I feel.
Yeah. I think that's a good reminder of not wanting to walk down that road. Like, I hope that my loved ones think I'm a good supporter of theirs.
Yeah.
right? Like that's all I can do is, okay, what can I do to be better supporter of my family and friends and whether they're on social media or not. I mean, people do things, you went to the grocery store today or whatever, right?
No, I like that. I mean, there's obviously a lot of healing that I still have to get through in that sense, because I've become so bitter with people. Like, okay, if you're going to be super self-serving, okay, then I'm going to be self-serving. And then I still haven't like gotten over the hump of like, okay, if everybody is just about themselves, I could still love on you still, type of thing. Right? Yeah. And I have to be able to do that because I know people who are successful have the most compassion, have the most empathy, towards others. That's the reason why they're able to find things that people need.
It's true. I would agree. And I would also add, though, people that are successful are also like really tapped into what feeds their passion and their excitement and that too, I think, because success can be, I can be financially very successful. I can be health-wise very, like, it depends what success is, right? And I think it can mean all sorts of things. But I when I see those successful people, whether they're the ones with the fancy jets or whatever, I think people are also putting themselves as priority. And sometimes when you're not doing that, it's hard to see other people around you doing that. Like that's where that hate or anger or jealousy, and again, like when that judgment comes out, I think it's a reminder to all of us that that's our own stuff. It's because I'm the most judgy about myself with that thing that I'm putting on you, and now I don't want to know how you're doing. So I think experience that too, and then you feel like you get to that place of well, I'm going to be just as catty, but like I mean petty, right? But then it ends up hurting you, right? Because then you're like they don't even know that you're now mad at them, right? It just turns into this thing where it's like, okay, how do we, like you said, how do we find focus back on the inside? There's so much external love that we seek, and social media I think can sometimes make it hard for us because I got 100 likes today or 1,000 likes or however many followers. That means I'm, important. But we got to start with ourselves. Like you said, there's that healing that you're still doing with yourself, as I think we all are, right?
It's definitely like the evidence kept coming, like as I kept doing more things, right? Like, even with the sushi restaurant, like who comes to my restaurant and who doesn't. I actually ran into one of my old friends at Costco.
Oh, yeah.
And hey man, like I just want to say, like, I never been really supportive of you, and he finally said it, and I'm like, it's not just me. But people have to get there on their own, right? And sometimes I think we're like, hurry up and get to where I am because I'm so excited about this thing I'm doing over here. And that friend, just nothing to you. They might be dealing with, and there's whatever they're, we all care about our own stuff. Right? As much as we want to care for others, it's like my own stuff's getting in the way of my own stuff, right? So who knows what's going on for him, but kudos to him to recognize that. That was so huge, and I appreciated that so much.
Maybe said something too, especially dude to dude, because dudes have a hard time having those kind of conversations, right?
And it was in the middle of Costco, out of all places.
Chaotic chaos, man. Costco is like my nemesis. I can't. So many times I'll have to go to the side and say to my husband, I'm just going to stand here with the cart. You go. I can't. It's too much.
Fetch it for me.
That is how it came out, isn't it? That's not how I meant it, but that my friends would be like, that's how she is. Go get it. Go here. I'll be by the taste testers over here. Whatever sausage and mustard they have going on over here. That's what I'll be trying.
Hilarious.
I like that middle fingers up, and I think good for you you're building your self-awareness, and that's kind of what we do on the show too. And I think it's good to get those things out instead of trying to feel like I'm better than that and I don't feel that way. I think it's good to lean in and say, this bothers me about this thing. Okay, now that it's out, what can I be in charge of? How can I respond to it? Versus, sometimes we react to loved ones and friends, but they're always the ones that I think we as loved ones too are always the ones that hurt and affect each other the most. Right?
I mean, it, like, even saying it out loud to you, it sounds petty. I know it's just, so I see the resistance in people even wanting to like talk about this,
Yeah, it's hard. I think there's a lot of reasons why we don't congratulate someone. And for me, my thing, I'm recognizing when I get a little bit of that saltiness because someone's doing something really cool, it's because I feel like I'm not doing enough. That has nothing to do with your success. It's I feel like
self-awareness.
I think it's just a reminder that we do those things too.
Right.
Right? We can put it out there and say, you did this or you said that, but it's just a reminder, I can be petty. I can be that way too. And so, okay, how can I respond to that? So I like that one. I'm gonna throw away my middle fingers and side with yours and put middle fingers up to that one. Because that's double a really good finger. Yeah, double, like right up, like right at the camera. Yeah.
It died.
Oh, it died. Oh, okay. Well, we got some video, whatever.
Hopefully
the audio doesn't die. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Let's go back to this video content stuff. So, and I just want to circle back to how did all this video content become such a demand? Like what changed all of a sudden with technology where everything is a video to my baby, a music video that's a montage to my life, a video on Instagram, video on TikTok, video this, like where do you think in your field was kind of like, what was a catalyst to this video stuff?
I think the question comes down to what feels more intimate and real. Photos is like such a small slice of time versus video where there's audio involved, right? Your video, you have your graphics, like you can tell a story in like multiple ways just through video.
Yeah.
And consumers, like people who consume videos, feel it less effort to do so instead of having you to think so much.
Yeah.
I think that's a part of it too, where it's like there's a laziness involved.
Right. Yeah. I kind of want it fed to me.
Yeah.
Now that I've watched this 10-second, maybe that's too long, 2-3 second video, I know that I buy this product, or if I sign up with this person, I'm going to get these sort of things.
So it is a combination of things, right?
Yeah.
So there's like the captivating aspect to it, right? Like when you watch something, like it makes you like so much more engaged with it.
Yeah.
But then there's also the lazy side where it's like, feed me, just tell me everything without me having to dig or think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I love music videos, because I want to know what the artist was thinking behind those lyrics. Yeah. And so it's like, what did they do for the music video? I was going to ask you though, with that, you had said you hear people now talking about, like I've been building my websites for almost a year now. So that's how quick I am at stuff. But you're building a website, or you're opening a store, or you're doing something, and you hear people say things like, I want my customers or my clients to have an experience. So is that kind of what you're saying with like video content? It's like you're trying to help people feel more than logic brain see or read something in a paper, I guess.
So some of the most effective videos are emotional things, right? It's always tugging at your emotions in one way or another.
Right.
Because indifference is your enemy when it comes down to marketing, when it comes down to, being a creator.
Right. What do you mean by that?
Indifference is, if somebody watches your video and they think like nothing of it, they don't feel good about it or bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want them to feel something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the job of the video.
Right. I like how you said that. Yeah. That indifference. Yeah. Because there is the neutral party that would.
Yeah. That's just like, meh. It's just something else.
Yeah. That's why the Kardashians are so good.
Yeah.
My husband edits that out every time I mention them, because he's like, you need to stop mentioning them on the show. And I'm like, why? They're good. I watched the show for research, but that you don't really know what they're selling.
They're marketing genius.
They are. Like, they're literally, like, they're not, I don't know what they're selling, but I'm sure I bought it. Like I'm connected to them, even though I hate them.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you're saying. They want to be loved or they want to be hated. Yeah. So it's like one of those things, right?
Like that's the key factor. But in order to do that, you have to think of all these small components, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Where everything is cohesive, like it just meshes into one thing.
Yeah. And that just speaks to you, like you just understand that from where you're sitting, like as a videographer.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this is embarrassing to tell you, but last week I clocked in like 8 hours a day average on my phone.
Oh, okay.
So I'm one of those like people who get obsessive about, seeing what people are doing and seeing how they're doing it and all that.
Right.
I have an obsessive personality. I think that's another reason why I do what I do and I am who I am.
Yeah.
But when I go in, I go in.
Yeah, you go all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, learning about all this stuff is obviously it's not as hard as if somebody were to start from nothing.
Right.
Like I'm gradually learning more and more and more. So it makes it a lot more comfortable that me and you were talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get overwhelmed by how much there is to learn?
No.
No, you don't think about it that way?
No, I think the whole point of it is that like whatever you come across is meant for you to learn.
Interesting.
Because I know somebody who is like super analytical and he wants to know everything before he starts.
Yeah.
And to the point where it could be crippling. And for me, I'm going to learn as I go because I know that my path is in the right way.
Right.
That I'm going to encounter these things no matter what.
Yeah.
But to be able to set the intention of going into this path is the important part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never like really like told him that before.
Right. What more would you add to that? I really like how you said that.
The more you know, the better, you know, at the same time. So there is like both sides to it.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that every single time you dive into something, you're okay with the idea of not being perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're going into it knowing that you are refining something and shaping something and like sculpting something.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And you can't sculpt something with just your mind. Like you have to go in and do it to see what part needs to be shaped or shaved off or whatever.
Yeah. You have to have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
For that, because you just sometimes it's like, you know, they say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And see, there's a metaphor there. We got that one, right?
Yeah.
And some of us just want to get to the end game, to the finished product. Like, I just want to see that Nike commercial. I don't want to be part of that work that you and your brother put forth.
Yeah.
In it. So sometimes I think that's like, there's some of us that sit on that end of the table.
Right.
That are a little ignorant or lazy or fearful, overwhelmed, whatever it is, to cross that line and dig and learn because, and that's why I asked, do you ever get overwhelmed? Because when I was learning WebEx, when I worked a few years ago where I was last at, it was COVID and we had to do everything virtual. And man, like I'm the kind of person that calls the IT department. They're like, Kieran, did you unplug it and plug it back? Like that's me. And I'm like, yeah, man, I already did that part now. Right.
Yeah.
So learning web and all that, I had colleagues that just surpassed me because they knew if they took a moment to get to know some of this stuff, it was going to make things actually quite a bit easier in the long haul. And then there was, you know, I was like, well, if we're only doing this for a short period of time, I only have to know how to turn WebEx on and join and whatever. And then, you know, this shit happens, goes sideways. And so I think you have a very valid point about we have to go into it not looking at the end game, but what are the possibilities and that may come out of this.
You know, they say detach from the outcome. So
look at us just speaking metaphors.
Right?
Yeah, we need a metaphor moment.
Bars.
Yeah, totally. Like poetry, but we just go and say metaphors.
Wisdom. I didn't realize this about myself is that whatever I'm doing, I want to do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of like building something is so fascinating. It's kind of like a person who was like in flow state building Lego.
Yeah. Was Lego a thing for you?
Yeah. I still have Lego.
Yeah. That's often a boy thing.
Is it?
Yeah, like and sometimes it's really helpful for young people with like attention deficit and that focusing piece and also build creativity. Right?
Definitely.
Like here's a bunch of Lego, figure it out. And I think that's interesting that that's an analogy that you would compare that to.
Yeah.
And that, you know, when I think about it from the perspective of Lego, I would think then you can pull it apart and put another piece and you're going to get something else out of it.
Exactly. But
That's
you have
amazing.
to love stacking those Legos.
You do.
Right?
Yeah. And not have your mom vacuum them up.
Yeah, or step on it. And be like, who the hell left this
Oh
here?
my gosh. Were you at my house the other day? Because that's exactly what was happening. Like if I have to step on one more piece. Yeah. That's exactly. I feel like they do that on purpose as well. Mind games, as I was telling you earlier. They play mind games. There's another one.
It's Home Alone. Just like
yeah. Home Alone, right? Just like such a classic.
Right.
But at the same time, could you do that? Could you survive as an 8 or 10-year-old like that?
I don't think so, because all they need is their iPad now, so they don't even need Legos.
Yeah, that's true. But did you hear about those 4 kids that survived for 40 days in the Amazon jungle?
Seriously?
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like they're as we're talking about survival, like here we go. But they were on a small plane with their mom and a pilot.
Yeah.
And the plane crashed, and mom and pilot died. And the kids, the oldest was 13, I believe, and the youngest was 1. So there's 4 of them. And they were in this Amazon jungle, like just in Colombia. They're Colombian. And they were there for 40 days.
Survived.
They survived. So people were looking for them and they fucking found them. Not crazy?
That is crazy.
Crazy.
What did they eat?
I know. Like, I want to know. But I don't subscribe to the journal that only lets me read 2 sentences. And, then the thing popped. I'm like, I can't pay $2.99. I don't have my money. So I only get a little bit of article every time. But and there was something the other day their dad said because of how they've been raised. Wow. So I was like, I want to know more about what survival mechanisms. Or you're teaching your kids real shit.
That's crazy.
So our kids in North America have iPads and fishy crackers, and over there you're, skinning survival. Whatever and cuttings whatever and eating this. Like you're figuring it out, right? So there you go. Those kids, if there's a zombie apocalypse,
right? We'd all be dead.
Yeah, not those 4. There's gonna be a movie. There's gonna be a movie about those kids. I'm just saying, like there should definitely be, maybe
I'd watch it.
I would too. I would 100% watch it. Yeah, because we, fantastic. Like, what was their story for 40 days?
Like the 1-year-old lived. Like
the 1-year-old, like that 13-year-old though. Kudos.
Boss.
Yeah. The oldest. Are you the oldest?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what that's like. I'm the oldest too. Yeah. And wasn't there like those TikTok videos that were going around? I think I even said that to you on the phone. Like they said the oldest is the family manager or whatever. And it's like exactly that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was joking with my siblings. I'm like, you guys should be thanking me all the time.
Yeah, true.
Because I fought the way for you guys. There should be like shirts with my faces on them.
That's how I feel about getting my drivers. Like it was so hard for me to get my drivers, getting my parents to let me.
Oh, they didn't want you because of too much freedom, right?
And then like when my brother wanted to get it, it was like, yeah, go ahead.
Fine, go for it. Yeah, exactly. There was no issues or whatever. Yeah. What about dating? Was dating like that? Were you allowed to date?
We didn't listen. Like,
you still did? Sense, did you hide? Did you? Yeah, you were boys though. Did you get away with more or no?
I feel like we did, but we don't have a comparison to compare to.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of my cousins, I don't really know about their life, like family life like that.
Yeah.
I would assume that we got away with a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have my mom and dad listen, but I mean, I always say to them, too bad. Like, my apologies. It's your fault for listening to learn stuff about me. But we'd have to like say, go pick me up down the street, or I'm just going to walk to my friends, or I'll meet you somewhere else, because we had to make up all these stories, and you grow up learning how to lie.
That's
the child of immigrant parents.
And I've actually told my parents this before.
That you're a great liar?
No, this is the result of being like, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right.
So like, what are you going to do about it?
Well, that's the thing. You're going to do it anyway. And I think some of us parents now that have been brought up in the way that you're saying, like our mentality now is, okay, you're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to prepare. I'm going to be like that dad of those kids in the Amazon jungle. Like, I'm going to prepare you should something happen when you go to that party anyway. Yeah. Or you choose to take substances or drink. I want to give you as much info about it as possible, right? Because I don't know what you're going to do and when you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Yeah. But and there, no matter how much freedom you give your kids, like kids want independence, and kids think that they're so different from their parents. And so you want this like privacy to you, right? Your secret.
You're too cool.
Yeah, exactly. You're mysterious, right? And totally. So I think kids are going to always have that no matter how much freedom parents give you. But
true.
Yeah, sometimes I tell my kids too, I'm like, you're so lucky. You have no idea.
Right.
That you just yelled at, like, you can't yell at me. Right? Did you yell at your parents?
No, I would never.
Like, what would happen?
Backhand, front hand.
All the hands, right?
All the hands, all the legs.
All the wooden spoons, right? All these extra hands come out of where? You're like, what? I thought we had 2 hands, and why does it feel like 100? Yeah.
Suddenly it's Mortal Kombat. You know that guy with like the
finish him. Your heart's getting ripped. Yeah. What was your favorite character on Mortal Kombat?
Scorpion, of course.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, I watched my brother because I was a little bit older at the time, but Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Oof. But I liked, was it Malaya? What was her name? One of the girls, she had like crazy teeth and this crazy ponytail.
The purple? Like she was
yeah. There's like 2 girls. I forgot their names. We're going to have to look them. I don't have my phone in here, but we're going to have to fact check later. Like fact check Mortal Kombat. Right? Did you play Tekken too?
Not really.
So it was more Mortal Kombat, right? Yeah.
And like Street Fighter.
Oh, Street Fighter. Hey, yeah. Which one was your favorite?
Ryu. Oh my god, I sound so basic. I pick like all like the main character guys.
What was your favorite video game? What kind did you play?
All time?
Yeah.
I would say it's Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. Yeah. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah. Oh, it's
I haven't
so
seen
good.
it yet.
It's so good. You
Is
have
it?
to watch it. Yeah.
I know we do have to see it because like that's as far as I went with video gaming was Super Mario Brothers.
It's so good.
And then I stopped. I didn't care for it, but I loved playing that.
You're gonna love the movie.
Yeah, my kids went and saw it. Yeah, we need to go.
It's nostalgic though. Like,
yeah, I feel like I should smoke a big fatty before I go though.
I was on mushrooms when I went. It was great.
That would be. I couldn't leave my house.
Oh yeah,
I feel
true.
Or whatever location I am. That's a lot. Kudos to you to be on shrooms and to do that.
It was almost like the movie was made for it, to be honest.
Really?
Like, the Rainbow Road and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
Did you have a lot of treats with you too?
Yeah, well, we got popcorn.
Yeah.
Snuck in a few things, but
yeah, always, obviously,
always.
Right? Yeah, like you can't.
Movie theater 101.
And you know what? Movie theater kids, I used to work at the movie theaters. Yeah. They're not as tough as they used to be. They don't check you or ask you anymore. They don't even make eye contact with you, and they don't care about you.
Oh my God! Speaking of eye contact and stuff, I find that the kids nowadays are weird. Like conversation wise, in person,
they won't look at you.
They are. Like, it seems like they don't have confidence, but they want to act like they're the shit at the same time. Yeah. So it's like this weird interaction all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny that you say that. Yeah, because some cultures some cultures you don't look in the eye or whatever. Yeah. But for us, we've always said to our kids, it's like your superpower. You look at people when you talk to them. It's really important. That's like a big thing for my husband with the kids. But I don't get that. I get different sass from them. Like that's not my problem is other like stuff. It's like everything I do is cringe. I'm so cringe.
You got the ick.
The ick. Yeah. The ick, yeah. Not the sticky icky ick, but the ick. Yeah, it's changed now. What are some other cool words? You seem so cool. What are some other cool words I should know?
I don't even know any actually. Like I can't think of off the top of my head.
You have to.
Oh. There is this one that I can't stop laughing about. It's what's it called? Riz.
Riz?
Riz.
It's like R-I-Z?
R-I-Z. I don't know how you spell it, but
it must be a word off of something.
Charisma.
Oh fuck. Like how are you supposed to know that that's from charisma?
Okay. The thing about that is that like it doesn't mean charisma though. So when they say like, "Oh, stop rizzing" or something like that, it just means like you're flexing or like you're showing off or something like that.
Oh, it's a new flex.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Children call the lines are just going again. Yeah, but the kids calling us now. Riz.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go back and learn about this word now.
Just ask your kids.
So like, how can you please put it in a sentence?
I've only ever heard someone, "Oh, you got so much riz."
You got so much riz.
Yeah. Like if their friend is hitting on a girl or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh, you're risen."
Oh, you're risen. Like, okay. Man, you always think you're gonna be cool and you're always gonna know all the words, and then one day rad becomes so stupid and it's not cool, and you're like, it's like technology. You don't catch up.
Yeah.
You can't keep up.
Definitely.
Like also, if I'm using words like riz, like that just also doesn't go well, right? People are gonna want to hate me forever if I was like, "You're so risen." Also sounds weird. Sounds a little like jizz.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you were thinking it too, right? After you're so risen. You're so
you're risen.
Oh man. You could just make up words now and they work.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be so funny to like get a kid to like just try to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And just write down every word that you don't know.
Yeah. 100%. Totally. I mean, that's going to be my activity tonight with my kids. I'm going to do this. If they let me. If I'm not.
And then start using it.
Yeah.
Start using it in front of them.
In sentences. It's like the toilet paper with like the word of the day. But for me, it's like the cool word. Yeah. So yeah, just like throwing it out there. Did you ever watch Modern Family with Phil and all them? The daddy's always throwing the words out and it's like so cringe.
It's so cringe.
That's what it would be. But I'm gonna throw Riz out and see if they know it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Do it and then use it on their friends in front of them.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be hilarious.
Their poor friends have to come over and deal with my husband and I. We're always just trying to like
just risen.
We're just all just a bunch of rizzers.
Casually risen.
Yeah, just risen it up over here. Yeah. I rizzed so hard the other day. Like it just sounds so bad. Doesn't matter how you say it. It's the worst. Yeah. Don't riz all over me.
You got your riz on me.
Yeah, you got your riz on me. I think you just named the episode there's so many quotes for you because you get to name it at the end. So there you
nice.
Go. Yeah, I'll send you quotes. It's gonna be all Riz quotes. So yeah.
Stop Rizzing.
Yeah, stop Rizzing. All right, that was a good one. Okay, so let's talk a little bit again about AI. Okay, so for anyone listening that may not understand AI, artificial intelligence, how would you describe it to someone that would have no understanding of what AI is? What would you say?
So it's a computer that's learning from your past and your present. Whatever you plug into it or have plugged into it, it's taking that information and summoning up an answer for you in whatever you want. So if you're prompting it to, let's say, answer a question of like, what should I have for breakfast today if I want to lose 10 pounds tomorrow? Mm-hmm. It gathers everything. So like whatever it's capable of gathering. Mm-hmm. And then it spits out an answer based on all the information ever given to it.
So I think sometimes when we talk about AI, we think it's something that's so far away and happening. And then you think of Terminator and you think of all those things. But like what you're describing is basically our phone.
Yeah.
Right? Like every day, like I'm sure if my phone was here, something about rizzing is going to pop up because it picks up these things and there are all sorts of fancy algorithms. And then it tells you, oh, you may want to get this thing. Yeah. And even though you talked about it or what. So I think sometimes we forget that it's in our little handheld devices.
It's been here pretty much.
Right. It's been here for a while and we've been using it in ways that maybe we don't even know.
Yeah.
So like this whole thing about Chat GPT.
Yeah.
So that's like, I think Gmail, I think sort of had some form of it through how to write emails. Yeah. It would some kind of I forgot what it was called, but basically there was different versions of Chat GPT before it's sort of what it is now, where it would help you out, do your daily emails, maybe even send you reminders, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now like you said earlier, you could literally write a movie.
Yeah.
Could write a TV show. You could give you an idea on how to make a music video. Yeah. So 10 years ago when it was hard to think of creatively how to have different content, you could say, help me find a creative way.
It'll give you like a shot list, like all the different shots that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
So you use Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every day.
Every day?
I even use it to prompt different Instagram descriptions and stuff like that.
Right.
So I don't even write my own descriptions.
So that like why do you go that route than you doing it yourself?
So in order to optimize like the search, so social media is becoming a search platform. So people look for things on there. So if anybody ever were to look for a Calgary videographer, you want to be able to have your posts optimized so that like it pops up more because obviously it's going to populate like so many answers, right?
Right.
So many people. So the more frequently you post and upload and stuff like that, obviously the more chances of you showing up for those words.
Yeah. Right.
So they can be more efficient with getting all the right keywords because you're prompting it to.
Right. Yeah.
To have Calgary videographer as me popping up as like first or second.
Right. And that's because you're competing with all the other videographers. Yeah. So you're using it to help optimize in the sort of advertising and helping you get your name out there and people sort of, you're one of the first top 3 of people that show up. Yeah. And so for you, you're using it in a way that can be helpful. And so what would you say for folks that think it's not a good thing, like almost like it's a taboo, it's a bad thing, because you hear people say, oh, you use that for your Instagram posts, then you don't really know what you're doing. You should be able to just write that out yourself. Mm-hmm. For example, I'm going to go and write a script, let's say, for a movie.
Yeah.
And I have an idea. Maybe I'm not a good writer, but I go to Chat GPT and say, make me a movie where a South Asian woman is the star and Ryan Reynolds is, right? Nice. And it's not Priyanka Chopra, it's me or whatever. Anyways, and it writes this movie for me. Like people would say, that's fake. That's not real content. That's not a real movie because a robot made it. It's because we're comparing it to all we've known, right? Like humans wrote movies.
Yeah.
humans getting in a writer's room together. You know, you think of SNL, like these classic shows that get together and write these things. And so there's this worry about using something like ChatGPT when then anyone can make a movie. Yeah. Everyone can make a music video. So what would you say to that?
I would say that with or without artificial intelligence, there are other people who have already presented your idea or, you know, before you have already. Like there's original ideas are so rare nowadays that everybody wants to be special. You know what I mean? Like
we're all influencers.
Yeah. Or everybody wants to be that person who writes that super original script.
Yeah.
Like let's get back to the movie example.
Yeah.
But there is a huge and high chance that other people have already thought of that idea already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and my point is that it's not about being super righteous. Oh, I'm so skilled at writing script. It's more so about, oh, how am I going to turn this into a movie now?
Right.
Right? It's about executing and turning something that could just be a robot, like spitting something out, versus somebody who's executing and creating whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. What would you say? Okay, so like you would use AI in your world with digital media and tech and all that. Would you say support AI across all fields? Like we kind of talked a little bit about the medical field, but what about in the world of mental health? So you can sign in and have AI do therapy with you.
Crazy.
Yeah. So in fact, quite a few months back, there was a story, and I don't know if it's a fake story or not. So, you know, don't use me as fact check, folks. But basically, this man was utilizing AI as therapy, and almost ended up having this kind of relationship with the quote unquote AI therapist, and somehow along the way of this therapy and this conversation, the man got the idea that AI was telling him to like kill himself. And when you go back, and so he ended his life, he killed himself because AI had, and so when they went back and kind of looked at this therapy, this conversation, AI was sort of doing this thing saying, you know, like sacrifice yourself, you know, and it was almost like we're going to be together. It was very interesting, like what happened there.
Yeah.
And how, and you know, like if, like you said, like I've used ChatGPT as well, and you can really direct that conversation. Yeah. Like, but I don't know if therapy would be in that way too. But I mean, honestly, human to human, if you were my therapist sitting in a room, I could direct that conversation because I'm only going to tell you what I want to.
Right.
And I can be as truthful or not. You don't really know how genuine I'm being.
Yeah.
You may get a sense if I'm not a good liar, but you and I already determined we're great liars. That's how we grew up. So, right. So it's like, okay, so you can kind of navigate a conversation human to human. So yeah, you could probably do that with AI, but it's like everywhere, right? So these sort of conversations we're having are not just for what's happening in your field, but all across the way. So my question coming back is, do you think that there is some fear or there is a line that we have to worry about crossing with artificial intelligence?
I just think that it's a tool. So a knife is a tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a gun is a tool.
Yeah.
So how you're using it, it can either harm you, right?
Yeah.
Or if it can help you.
Right.
So do you have enough self-awareness, self-control? Like how well built is your own mind to let's say, like if it is a therapy session you're doing, to take away the good from whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't want to get into this, but for all the religions, like to take away the good from all the religions.
Yeah.
And use it to benefit yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Totally.
But I get it though, because I've heard of stories where people marry their cars or like marry their dolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where there is a huge chance of them like building this relationship and having a hard time separating the two of, you know.
There's always that you can call if you want like extreme scenarios or all parts of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Even before AI.
Yeah. What example? What would you say? Even before AI?
Even before AI?
Yeah.
Some lady marrying a roller coaster.
Oh.
Like the crazies are going to be cray.
Oh, that's really cool. Marrying a roller coaster, hey?
Yeah.
What would you do? What would be your thing if that was like What would you marry? What would you have a relationship that would be just so out there and weird?
Ooh. I would have to say my camera, man.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, I love my camera.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Your girlfriend might be listening though, so you might have to give her a shout out right now.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay, my girlfriend Catherine. Shout out.
Catherine.
Let's go. Yeah.
It's very believable, Catherine, that he's picking you over his camera.
But so. Yeah, I do love my camera.
Yeah.
I kiss my camera sometimes. See.
Yeah. Have you named your camera?
No.
Would you? You should name your camera.
Right?
Yeah.
I should.
Do you have like multiple cameras? Do you have like this monogamous relationship with one camera, or are you like
polygamous?
Are you? Is it polygamous? Right. Monogamous is one.
Yeah. It's monogamous, but I think it's open.
Yeah. Oh, an open relationship. It's very interesting you say that. You know, I'm getting people asking. People will send topics, and I've had more than a few asking about having the discussion of open relationships.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I mean...
Right? I mean, with cameras, it's a different story. But...
yeah.
I could use other cameras, right?
Yeah. Different shapes and sizes and
right.
all sorts of different... Yeah.
4K, 8K.
Oh, wow. Listen, buddy, this is a PG show.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
1080 only, I guess.
Yeah. That camera is pretty cool. Like, I'm looking at it, and it's very, like, news. Like, I feel like I should be a journalist and be like, this just in. Breaking news.
Yeah. It's a cinema camera. It is Netflix approved. Not that anybody cares.
Oh my gosh, we should make a Netmix. Let's make a Netmix movie. We should make you should do one. You should do a Netflix movie.
That's actually the goal. To have like a docu-series type of thing.
What would it be?
Food.
Oh, okay. So now let's say you're presenting your movie idea. I'm Netflix. So give me your pitch. What do you want me to put on my Netmix?
Oh my gosh, it has to be story, right? You're pitching the story more so than like, oh, it's about food. Ooh.
Yeah. So would you bring some video content in to show them something, or would you just talk to them? Would you?
So I did recently just apply for a grant so then I can create like a food series in Calgary. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I'm with you. Yes.
But like to show like different cultural foods and
I mean, you'd be on 17th Ave forever.
That's too mainstream. Like I want to go to like the hole in the wall type places.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
do you know of any? Would you like give a shout out?
I think like Sushi Toki is one, if anything, right? So that's where it stems from. Yeah. And it'd be nice to be able to like find those small mom and pop shops that are like so good, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. The Lazy Loaf have you been there?
No.
The Lazy Loaf in the Northwest. It's like very close to where I used to work. Yeah. And honestly, they're, so like good, amazing. I don't even have the word to describe their food.
I think I've seen it on TikTok. Like people go there.
Like their cupcakes. Oh, I like on everything that they serve. But yeah, like those one-offs that literally they're the OG. It's not franchise. I think that's really cool. So you would it be like Anthony Bourdain style?
Yeah, like where I'm the one who is like the host of the
and then
show.
You go and try the food.
Yeah.
Do you have allergies?
No.
See, you can only do it if you don't have food allergies.
True.
And are you a risky?
Yes.
So you'll try anything?
So down, yeah.
Is there anything you wouldn't try?
Human.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you have a line.
Yeah, that's my line.
Yeah. Anything but human.
Yeah, I would try dog.
Would you?
Oh my God, we're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks. Yeah.
I'm
Both
so sorry.
of us after
R.I.P.
this. Like all the dog lovers, don't worry, we're not having dogs. We love dogs. All shout out rough. Hashtag rough.
Rough.
Yeah. Right. Don't be so Riz. Yeah.
You're risen too much.
Yeah,
right now.
You're overflowing with your Riz, buddy. You need to see a doctor
about your
Riz.
I'm gonna cry.
I know, right? Don't make me pee my pants. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool because that was gonna be my question. Like, what's next for you?
Right.
So you're loving this videography, but to do like a little docu-series or have a little show and you go and check out, that would be so cool.
So from my content, you can't like. Someone recently asked me this. They're like, "So what kind of stuff do you like to shoot?" I would love to create documentaries. Yeah. But you can't tell based off of my content that I put out there. Yeah. But that's the marketing side of me. Is like, okay, well, what works on the internet and what doesn't, right? Yeah. I have tried to pitch documentaries to businesses. Right. But it's not valuable to a lot of businesses right now. Yeah. Yeah. So.
So where would it be valuable? Netflix, places like that, hey? Yeah.
Like, let's just say you're a sushi restaurant, for example.
Right.
And you do a docuseries on sushi, going around places to eat sushi.
Yeah.
But your branding is all over the video without, actually branding it. Just like slip it in there here and there type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any docuseries or documentaries that you love that you sort of are inspired by?
Jiro, the sushi guy. Have you seen that?
No.
It's he's like a super old guy, dedicated his entire life to making sushi. I think he has a Michelin star.
Oh.
But it's like literally in a subway.
Oh wow, where?
Yeah, in Japan.
In Japan.
So he's like, he dedicated his life, so that makes it even like crazier, right? Even like mixing the rice with the vinegar and all that. It's
literally him running this operation?
He's got people helping him.
Yeah.
But it like took years of like every day being like, how can I make this 1% better every day?
Yeah, wow. And he's gotten himself a documentary.
Yeah. You gotta watch it. I think it might be on YouTube too.
Okay, well that's gonna be my homework.
Do you like sushi?
I love sushi. I can't say it's an acquired taste. So it took me years to build up. And it was a very drunk vacation in Vegas.
Nice.
And it was expensive sushi. My husband's like, why is the sushi that you have to try for the first time in love, like the expensive stuff? I'm like, I don't know. This is so good. But I love sushi. Yeah.
Nice.
I love Sukiyaki House.
Ooh. Okay.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really good. And then also just here in Willow Park, Sushi Ginza.
Oh, I've never tried that.
Really big fan of theirs. Yeah.
Wow.
They're really good. But there's lots of great, there's so many sushi places.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go try yours now. Yeah.
Definitely.
I know it's not yours anymore, but yeah. Always have a part of your family, I'm sure, there, right? Yeah. And now I just love, what's the stuff called that's just the tuna and not the sashimi, but it's on the rice though.
Yeah, so that's sushi. So that's what they call sushi.
Well, now I sound like an idiot. I have to edit. No, but not like the rolls.
Yeah, so you have the rolls, and then you have the sushi where the fish is on top. Mm-hmm. That's sushi.
With a little bit of garlic. Oh my God, chopped up and onions on there. Oh, it's so good. I told my husband this last round, I'm like, I don't even want my yam rolls anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we still got them, but next time I'm like, honestly, just give me like sashimi or
times 2.
Yeah, 100%. So good. Yeah. Now I'm wanting some sushi too.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. Now I'm like, my mouth is watering.
And it's kind of healthy too.
It is.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when it first became like a thing.
Yeah.
And Avril Lavigne back in the day, I remember her saying, I only eat sushi now and I'm so healthy. And I always remember that every time I eat sushi, I'm like, Avril Lavigne ate it during her complicated album years and she was super healthy fit. So, I can, for me. Yeah, the rice works for, I should be able to digest it. It's like our people's staple food.
Honestly.
Right? Like we should totally be able to digest. It shouldn't be carby for us. It should just be like nutrients going through for us. Oh, yeah, man. I'm a big fan. So I will definitely check. What is the sushi restaurant's name again? Sushi Toki?
Sushi Toki.
Yeah. Okay. It's happening.
Nice. You're going to go to the hood.
I am going to go. Yeah. Like, so we're the best of. That's like for Indian restaurants. Like, you got to go to the Northeast.
Even for Vietnamese noodles.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
Yeah, right. It can't be like a fancy, what are those
clean.
Like fusion-y places where, it's like, this isn't,
authentic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going for. Authentic. The real deal. Nothing Riz.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's too Riz.
No Riz allowed.
Yeah, no Riz allowed.
It's on the door.
That's gonna be our slogan now. Welcome to Middle Fingers Up, where there's no Riz allowed. No Riz necessary.
No Riz on my sushi.
Yeah, no Riz. Yeah. Please hold the Riz. Yeah.
The chef's like, are you sure?
And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't what I expected. This isn't, what's going on here? Where am I? Yeah, what the fuck? Wait, I have more follow-up questions to that, chef. Are you still going to go now and do something? Because I kind of want to back, what's the word? Back it up here,
Reverse it. Back it up and reverse it.
Back it up and reverse it. That's right. Yeah. That's also like dealing with your childhood, backing up and reversing it, going back and talking to little you. That's where a lot of that healing happens.
Yeah.
Talking to that inner child, man.
Yeah.
Giving little Kien what he needs.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot of components to make up like what you're doing now type of thing. And a part of it is that, I think. Yeah. Where I'm like, yo, I didn't have anybody like this for me. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. But you show up that way for yourself now. And like you said, you show up that way for your nephew and some of the other folks that, you know, are learning that, oh, we do have a voice. I do have a voice. They see you out there and they think, okay, this is okay. This is allowed. This is possible, right? Yeah. Like you didn't have that to follow. I look back and I think that too all the time. Like, man, I wish I had the ability to think outside of the box or push the envelope a bit more and be like, but why not? Why can't we have the voice?
Yeah, and it's not too late.
But that's just it. It's not. I'm 42 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you, actually. What? Yeah. I don't know if you follow hockey, but Kevin Bieksa from the Vancouver Canucks, we have the exact same birthday. And Tupac was born, rest in peace, Tupac.
I know Tupac.
Yeah, shout out to Tupac, yeah. Two famous people. Do you have any famous people born on your birthday?
No.
You know, I only really said whatever I said so that I could somehow throw in it's my birthday tomorrow. Yeah. Like, in fact, that we even went this long without me mentioning it, to be honest. Like, I don't know why. I should have had cake and, like, champagne or something for us.
I mean, you're going to be risen all day tomorrow.
I'm going to be so high-level Riz.
High-level Riz.
Yeah, like all day, son. Yeah, just risen.
It's her birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. That's right. 42.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be 42?
Well, I'll tell you tomorrow. But honestly, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this decade so far. Nice. This is the 30s were a good setup.
Yeah.
I feel like where you start to, and I hear you saying that too, some of that healing, you're starting to recognize some things about you, know yourself well.
Yeah.
In the 40s, I'm just starting the 40s, but really feel like there's a lot of forgiveness, like a lot of room for forgiveness.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and giving yourself, this is just me, like I can only speak for myself, but like just giving myself more time.
Yeah.
And I think just rejigging what's important, because like we've been talking a lot about media. There's so much to get caught up in.
Right.
And then feel like that imposter syndrome, right? Like I'm not enough, or I'm not putting enough content out, I'm not doing enough. But I think you start to get to a place, or at least I am, where I'm like, oh, okay, like I can let go of a lot more. And like even doing this show, it's sort of, okay, you talked about this too, like it's on your terms.
Right.
You start to learn a lot of stuff and you're curious about things in a different way. And it's nice to kind of feel that I would say I'm starting to get my voice back in my 40s.
Nice. And I think that's what this like podcast is doing for you.
That's the hope, right? Yeah, that's exactly it. Is giving people space to talk about their stuff without interrupting too much.
Great.
Yeah, put my Riz on you.
Yeah,
and
I put my Riz on you.
yeah. We're just like just this patty cake of rizzing back and forth, right?
It's got a rizzy podcast.
Yeah. As I like choke back here, like just all this Riz. Yeah, so that's so weird. I didn't even mean to come out that way. But that was so fun. I didn't even think about that. I was like saying it and then reading it, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
This
that's
one's
hilarious.
like double explicit, right? Yeah. I think we chuggied the word Riz. Do you know what chuggy means?
No.
Okay, so I'm learning, and apparently this is so old, but I just learned about chuggy a couple months ago. It's some high school kid thought of this, and so now it's a thing, but it's basically my generation and the generation after me getting a lot of flack for all the things that, like wine glasses with writing on them, like wifey for lifey, or gold and rosé and pink doors, sort of like my sort of generation, the things like that we really liked for in terms of fashion and decor, all of that. I'm chuggy.
Okay.
So my friends that are younger than me, a few of them, we'd laugh about this. So I'm like, is this like chuggy now? Like, why don't you just put me on a friggin' leash and call me chuggy for the day? Because I feel like that's what it is. So
it's a cute dog name.
Chuggy the chow chow. I love chow chows.
Cute. Yeah,
I want one. My friend had one when I was a kid.
Oh.
They have purple tongues.
Yeah, and they're so fluffy.
They're so cute. Yeah, chow chow. Yeah. Chuggy. Naming it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, if I ever get a dog, I'm getting a girl and naming it after one of my favorite Bollywood actresses.
Who?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you the day it happens. I have so many from the 90s. These are the old 90s ones, not the new age ones. I don't know any of them. They're cool too. I'm sure, but my time. Yeah. I'm going to name after a Bollywood actress for sure. Yeah. Right.
Do you consume Bollywood?
Oh man, I did. I grew up with it. Like I didn't know anything pop. All the 80s and 90s and 2000s stuff came to me way later. Yeah. Like I discovered Sex and the City and Friends and all this stuff way later. But I grew up. I would say I was born and raised in Canada, but I grew up in India. Like my household was very like Indian. Yeah. So all the Bollywood movies in the 90s. Like I remember going to Bombay to visit some friends. And how we became friends with them was because I got to dance in a lot of the Indian Bollywood movies were being filmed in Vancouver. Oh. And Calgary at the time, and probably still are because you save money. Yeah. And I ended up being able to dance in one of the, like, part of the movie song. And all the girls were mad at me because they all had to audition. But we just became friends with the cinematographer. And they were great. The family's great. We love them. And they hosted us. They were like, come out to Bombay to my parents. So we went. And I got to meet my favorite all-time Shah Rukh Khan, was like the Brad Pitt of Bollywood movies. And I got to meet him on set. It was like this big thing for me as a 14-year-old girl. That's amazing. Yeah, like it was so much fun. But yeah, I grew up on Bollywood movies and then kind of just, found other things. Yeah. You kind of Backstreet Boys and North America gets you, right? Yeah. And you're like, oh, what am I doing watching this? I gotta watch these other movies and,
it's so in your face that you can't just escape from it.
Yeah, right. Totally. And so now I'd go back and watch some of the old ones. I can't say I'm into anything new, like, you know what I mean? But I like the artsy ones. My mom and dad will be like, watch this one. So what about you?
It's called TVB or something like that. TVB. Yeah. So it's like a Hong Kong or like Chinese they broadcast like shows and stuff like that. Yeah. Watched it all throughout my childhood. Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm still able to speak Chinese. Yeah. Or else I would have been like Yeah. I can speak my language too, Punjabi, but my siblings really they kind of can, but not really. It's just you trip up. I get it.
Yeah. Totally, right? Like you when it's not. And your parents, I don't know about your parents, like did they try to speak more English with you guys or did they speak Chinese?
No, they spoke Chinese.
They did.
To the point where I had to be in ESL. Like
until
I was in like grade 4.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But did you need ESL?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Okay. Because we would get put in it just because our name represented we should, but we didn't need, well, maybe we did, but we didn't think we needed it.
My girlfriend. Yeah. She was put in, she only spoke English.
Yeah, right? It's her name. They see her name on there, right? And you're in the little room with the round table and they give you sour keys. And my brother's like, my sister and I would get mad. We'd like demand, like, we're not. My brother was like, I'd fucking love that shit, man. That's like the best class to be in because you're just doodling and coloring.
And then you pretend you don't know English.
Totally. You had 2 sour keys today because you tried extra hard. You were able to tell me your name. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. It's like however you can get away with stuff, right? So I feel like we're coming to an end, and I just want to give you an opportunity because we talked about life, we talked about growing up as children of immigrant parents, we talked about a little bit about AI, we talked a lot about videography. I'm curious if there's anything that you wish I'd asked you today or anything that you want to bring up, because like my digital media intelligence, right, is like, so it's a baby, like or I'm a baby with that. So there's probably way more complicated stuff that you know. So I don't know if there's anything that you want to bring up or share.
I think one thing that we are missing in this AI talk is why. Why should we care that AI is here? And my answer to this is, stuff I've heard from the grapevine. Oh my God, that's showing my age too. But
the good old grapevine.
So why should we care about AI, let's say as a business owner, as a personal brand, like just as a human being in general, is that like as it takes over more things like Google, right? As it takes over Yahoo and all that kind of stuff, where your search is going to be generated by AI.
Yeah.
What happens is like on the first page of all your search engines are going to be AI generated, and then all your advertisements. And then at the very bottom, the very few at the bottom are going to be the people who have optimized their websites. Mm-hmm. So the reason why that's important is that like you're at the bottom of the first page and nobody is going to pay some like SEO people to do that anymore, right? They might as well pay for ads. But what happens when everybody is bidding for the same words for those ads? Like prices are going to go way up, meaning that only the big players are going to be the ones paying for those ad spots underneath the AI.
Right.
So what does that mean? It means that people have already begun to search on your social media. And the reason why you got to care about that is because if you are optimized on your social media and you're posting all the time with consistency, what happens is that people who are searching on those platforms, you get a small piece of the pie if you're good at it or if you're consistent and everything, right? So that's the reason why AI with video is so important at this very moment. Like your content is important right now because of its searchability and like you're like making money. Right. For your business. Like you're not just there to be popular or famous, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So that's what AI is doing. This is what I heard from multiple sources. Yeah. Or my understanding of it anyway. Right. So it's taking over the search engines to the point where like you writing blog posts and all that kind of stuff, if everybody else is writing blog posts from ChatGPT or whatever. Yeah. That's what marketing is, where if something is oversaturated, it starts working less and less and less until it becomes it doesn't work at all. Right. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. Because, it was a little bit.
No, it was well said. So what's the thing to do? Like, what is one thing that you would suggest to our listeners, even to me in this conversation about what do we take from that? Like, what is one thing we can think about or do with what you're saying? Because it's happening, as you're saying, and...
Take content more seriously.
Take content more seriously. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, people tell you that you should set aside some time to create content and, like, kind of express who you are on the internet and all that stuff. That, before, it was just like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, a bunch of kids are the ones on the internet. I don't need kids to see what I'm doing. Right. But as time goes on, you're going to realize that just marketing in general is changing into that platform.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, as a videographer, I've met so many people who have just still had that mentality that social media is for the kids.
Yeah, and we're not going somewhere, we kind of think, but social media and all that will fizzle down. But that's the quite opposite. It's not. It's only been building. Yeah. Like you look at all of the chat rooms and dating sites and kind of where we started to learn about this way to connect each other, to YouTube, to like all the way to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and all these other thousands of other apps and stuff that I haven't even listed because I don't even know what they are. But it's sometimes that way of being almost feels like ignorance of, well, if I look the other way, or if I don't, it's not for me, or it's not my generation. You're saying that that's not going to work because it's going to be part of our lives. Just like electric cars at some point are going to be all of our life coming up in the near future. It's almost like, okay, how do we figure out to get behind this? Yeah. Or at least what does it mean for my business? Because if I don't get behind this or interested in this, my pizza shop or my little boutique store or my whatever restaurant is going to be sort of drowning.
Washed out.
Yeah. And it may be the best place to eat, right? It may be the best sort of store to buy clothes from or whatnot, but no one will know. Exactly. Because someone's not used the algorithm and is way up top.
It's just surprising with like how many people would deter from buying from a place if their social media game isn't strong. Yeah. It's a mindset thing now, like at this point, right? It's a perceived value and all that kind of stuff.
Well, totally. And like even for me, when you say that, I think there's sometimes you think, okay, there's a lot of people out there that are podcasting. It's newer. Some people have been part of it right from the beginning and sort of started it, and with others it's newer. And so who knows where it's going to go, what's going to happen. But sometimes you think when you do something like this or you start a business, you think, well, I got to wait until I get to a certain place before I can really get into this content and join the cult of social media. Right. But you're not going to really get too far is also what I'm hearing from you until we invest in things like this, whether you want to do video content or have a heavy presence on social media. Like even I notice the more I post, the more followers I start getting. It's like very easy to put two and two together. But I think for me and maybe my generation, my way of thinking is I feel annoying. I feel like the more I put out there, maybe people are going to get annoyed by that and be like, oh, look at her. She's always posting. You start getting in your head and imposter syndrome. So you're like, I'll just hide for a minute. And also I want to live my life with my family. Like I don't want to constantly be on it. But so you have to have that balance. However, the reality is there's a lot of people in whatever field we're in and they're trying to get ahead and they're utilizing this platform. Yeah. Right? That this field that you're in, and those of us that want to maybe make something of our business or have a voice, like you're saying, it's something to really get into and learn about and think about. I'm
thinking like what you're saying about imposter syndrome is extremely relatable to like a lot of people. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I don't know how to get people to like, overcome that part. But I think like if you're thinking about it in a perspective of like, I'm just sharing. Yeah. And because imposter syndrome comes from you thinking that like you are the teacher and they are the students. Yeah. Like you're teaching them something. So you have authority over them. But it's really like the dynamic is not that. Yeah. It's literally just me sharing. That's right. My experience, my knowledge, only in my lane, what I know. What I found this to be true. Right. Yeah. And maybe you'll find it helpful, but here's what I really love how you said that, because that's a really nice way to get out of our own heads around, we're not trying to be the best, the professor, the teacher, whatever of this topic. We're just saying I have interest and here's what I know about it. And I like that, because I think sometimes, we shut doors in conversations, or even going back to your middle fingers up, right? Yeah. Like with family, friends, and people that are, because it becomes this weird thing for me. I don't want to know about your world because I don't know enough about it. Even today, having you on, I was so excited because I had such a good phone conversation, and you're so fun. You're so funny. You too. I love it. And honestly, I really hope you come back. Yeah. But I was nervous because I'm like, I don't know. I really don't. I am that person with my head in the sand. Like I'm not sitting here telling anyone that they need to be better with technology, because I'm saying for myself, I invited you on because I suck and I have to find a way to start to do exactly what you're saying, accept and get into this content world with my own stuff. Yeah. Like the more I do it, and it kind of goes back to what you said when you would watch those rap videos or listen to hip hop, this whole, risen on yourself. I don't know if I'm still using that, but this whole like celebrating yourself, right? When you're like, oh, you can do that. You can talk about how good you are. I feel like that's flash forward. That's what video content and social media is. It's a place to flex. Yeah. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, and that's and some of us use it in all sorts of for the good, we all have different extremes. Yeah. But I think sometimes that's part of that imposter syndrome too, is like we get in this place of, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough to do that. I love what you said though about, okay, but you just have to start with what you know. This isn't about I'm going to be the most important person on this topic. It's here's a little bit of me. Yeah. So, and if we can all walk in with that mentality, yes, exactly. I think maybe we can sort of tackle whatever worries we have about AI together as well, or learn from each other. Exactly. Asking, hey, what's your expertise or your knowledge on this? Yeah. And what's your experience on it? Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's great. Okay, well, I told you we were going to do an hour recording, and we're at hour and 51. Wow. I'm under 2 hours, so that we did it. Okay, so I just want to thank you again for coming here and talking to me and having this conversation. I also want to give you an opportunity to drop your plug one more time. So if people want to get in touch with you, where's the best place for them to look you up or contact you? Find me on Instagram at Calgary Videographer. Perfect. We'll also post that when we put the episode out. Nice. And for everybody listening today, thank you so much for being here with us. I hope you had a great time. As you know, I always say these conversations are door openers. So if there's anything more you want to know about this topic or anything you want to add, you know where to reach me. As I always say, if you don't, it's through email, info@mfupodcast.com, or on Instagram, and it would be at mfupodcast. Otherwise, have a great day. Hopefully you get your sushi today. You too. Right? Awesome. Thank you so much for birthday cake. My birthday. Oh my God, my birthday cake. I can't wait. Can't wait. Have a good one. Thank you. Yeah, you too. Thanks.